Hey. Welcome to another episode of This Shit's Hard podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Biscuiti.
And I'm Jen, aka Rumblebum. Thank you for joining us. Hi, what are you doing? Are you okay? Hello.
Listen, we all know that I have not been okay.
None of us are. Hey, look at my sticker I made.
Still fitnessing.
Yeah.
We love that.
I know, it doesn't sound as cool as I thought, but
your backdrop is like so dope.
Yeah, I'm a dickhead.
Your nails are so good, Rumble.
I like you.
What?
Her nails are good.
The glasses are good.
You
The
know.
glasses are a thing.
Well,
Same.
here we are.
Same.
Let me go at least put some lipstick
Please,
on.
God, you bare plank piece of shit. We're very upset.
Get that juicy lips. Get that juicy lips.
What do I do to mine? Hold on.
You
Just work? What?
you should be wearing lip gloss as well.
It's just slobber.
Oh my God.
Old.
Right.
What's off limits? I don't know my own off limits, so that's why you edit things.
What's off limits? You said nothing. I'm like,
Oh.
are you sure about that?
Hey.
It's like that mean. You sure about that?
You sure about that? No.
Sure about
Hey, papers are signed and money is owed, so I'm fucking
Okay.
legally not bound,
Yes.
right?
Then
Yeah,
you know we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah, fuck us. So,
Mhm.
it's raining still,
Okay.
motherfucker, man. Okay, sorry.
Can you make a sexy Dexy face?
That's my eye contact. No, stay here with me face.
Well, we love that we're interviewing our good friend, as Rumble says, Dexy Dexy, or I just call him Dexter.
That's the least weird nickname of all the nicknames our friends have given me. So I think Emma leads the race with that.
What is
I don't
yours?
know. I forgot. I'm not bringing that into public. But if you know, you know, like that song says.
No, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
her.
Well, just so you know, we're not here to talk about your training
Thank
protocol.
God.
No, we are not.
Thank God.
No, we are not, because we can
No.
find that out
Fair.
another time. All right. We already know because you put it out.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche.
We already know about that life. I mean, maybe we'll talk on it. But that's
What we
it.
want to know is all the stuff you can't read in the bio.
Oh,
Okay.
the stuff that's not in the bio.
Mhm.
I feel like that. So I
Mhm.
keep that thing, like the Instagram stuff. Like it is fun and it's like, but it says in there it's like a yearbook for me. So it is, and like, I mean, y'all know, like my mom passed away super suddenly, and so I think after that, even more so, it's less like. Now there's a season for it, but like there's gonna be weightlifting and fitness stuff, but like more so, it's like if something happens to me drastically and unexpectedly, they can go hear my voice and see daddy doing stuff he enjoyed, being with people he enjoyed, and like how he treated people and interacted with people. The kind of shit he talked, what an artist he was with the shit talk.
You're an
It's
artiste
a
with the
wordsmith in Vince Vaughn's voice. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's it. It's the yearbook for me. So it's mostly me chasing little girls around that are my children, because that sounds weird, around playgrounds and stuff like that. But yeah, it's fitness season right now, so that's why it's weights heavy, because God knows I'm not putting me doing cardio on there, because I still don't do it.
This is fine. We can say this because I called Jen yesterday and she's like, "Hold please, I'm running." I was like, "What is
That's
that
because
mean?"
I'm doing a stupid marathon. I have to run.
Why would you do that?
Did you know this? She's
I
doing
know.
Like on purpose?
Why
Or
would you?
somebody
Chicago Marathon.
blink twice if someone threatened you and made you agree to this.
Only myself.
I can't wait to see the linear progression videos for the running. So those are my favorite. Hey, bitches, I ain't doing nothing special. I add 5 to 10 pounds every week till I die in these exercises. That's what we're doing. Yeah. People, it's underrated.
That's it.
I have that talk once or twice a week with people, like program-wise. They're like, hey, this has been the same for 3 or 4 weeks. I was like, and it will be for 6 to 8, possibly 12,
Right.
depending on how much better you get.
Right. And for our listeners who don't know, Sexy Dexy has a full range of talents and skills, but the one that he was just referring to is he actually does write programming for athletes. and for regular people, because you did my brother a solid, and thank you for helping him with his Marine Corps
He's an
training.
athlete. He's an athlete.
He is an athlete, and just shout out to him. He's graduating in a week, becoming a warrant officer.
Top of the chain. Top of the chain.
So, but yes, but that is one of Dex's many skills. He also is a very talented videographer, which I probably owe you money for that last reel. Keep him coming.
Yeah, right.
He does.
Get organized. That's what that is. Yeah. It's weird going from like a season where that was like a fun hobby, and if I wasn't competing, like seeing if I, still being in the space and getting to kick it in a different way, to trying to like decide to pursue it more as an actual job or that, like, that's what's like the good and bad thing about like the jack of all trades, master of none thing. Like, I don't think it's ever been bad for me. It's benefited me in a lot of different seasons. But when it's like time to kind of decide to fill one cup a lot, it's hard. Like, I'm not that good at anything, but I'm pretty okay at a lot of stuff. So which one of these do I get good at? But it's it's been fun, man. I hadn't made like the gym I'm at now. It's not their presence there is not like social media heavy or anything like that. Nobody's really interested. It's a really unique gym. It's not good or bad. It's just different than what I'm used to. And so there's no. I mean, I guess everybody has a need for it. They just don't know and they don't care, and that's okay. So it's been shooting stuff for myself and shooting my girls and stuff like that. So now it's like, I did shoot a wedding, and like if I could get into doing that for a living, I would. But that is oddly hard to get into.
No one ever.
The weddings are fun, dude. Well, like because my things like turn around. So if I like the last wedding I shot on Friday, get it out by Wednesday, right? Unless something crazy happens, and then I'm on like a normal timeline that's still faster than most, but. It's I love it. I don't know if it's like I have a sickness in me. Do I love and being around it, and those things like make me feel good, whether it's mine or not. And so yeah, I love weddings, and like it's not a horrible day. Like I'll look up and realize I've been there for like 14 hours, and it's fine. It's fine. I'm really sweaty and like clothes you're not supposed to be really sweaty in, and all that stuff. But it's a hilarious like time to watch everybody get ready and go through that whole day. But it's one of my favorite things. And it's like way less chaotic. Like at Wadapalooza or something like that, shooting for brands, you have to pump, or maybe I put the pressure on myself to pump out a ton of stuff. And that used to be because I thought my stuff was not that good. And so I'd pump it out quick and I'd be like, it might not be that good, but it was out first. And then like as the quality catches up to the speed.
But it was out first and it was good.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, look, it caught up. It caught up, and it's still not. I think and that's it's like the weirdest, most subjective thing because like you get to hang out with like, and all the cats in the pit are cool, like Carlos Bound and Alex and all those people. There's a million of them, but they're dope people to hang out with, and they're so talented, dude. And like Carlos disappears at night and comes out at like 3 a.m. and it's pumped out like a 45-second video that's a movie, right? And so. And it's weird. It's been a real hard thing to not get into like comparison stuff, and everybody's kind of on their own thing. But they're all cool, man. It's not even like is it competitive? Yeah, I think everybody wants to put out their best stuff, but it's not like my best stuff versus yours. You suck it. It's a different kind of artsy competitive that I'm not used to. So, but that stuff's been fun. I don't know where that's going to go this year. I'm just trying not to let these things get dusty or the skills fall apart. But we're settling. Settling in.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you for not taking my spot on this show.
Oh yeah. It's when y'all started this, it was like this was on the come up, and then I had some chaos. It was also parallel coming up.
We'll talk about that, but
so quick context for our listeners. This Shit's Hard podcast was originally going to be hosted by myself and Dex Hopkins.
Yeah, that's all right. I think you came out on top. You came out on top of this. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And honestly, I can say I got a fucking 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, maybe a million out of 10 with Rumble as my co-host. So thank you for having the capacity and the grace to step away, but also sorry that your life went to hell in a handbasket at that very time.
We're not dying or going to jail. So it's just a real, if those two things aren't happening, then it's like growing season. So it's been cool. And like all three of us been going through that like the last year or two. So It's
the three of us are so good at spontaneously combusting. It's we're so good at it by now.
graceful through it now. It's like dancing in the rain. You don't like it the first time, but then it's in a movie and it's nice.
We're all in a crying phase constantly. You never know.
It's been a year. It's been a decade.
This year has been a decade. Yeah.
It's been a decade. So we did ask Dex what we do all of our guests beforehand. We're like, the Tonight Show or something. Is anything off limits? Because we want to be respectful. And we don't like to, spring questions on people that they are not.
That should be the opposite.
Well, it should be, but I feel like then we would get no answers.
People are soft. It's okay to say pass. Respectfully. Respectfully suck it, and then you move on.
It is definitely okay to say pass.
Yeah.
But we still respectfully ask.
It's okay.
And said there's nothing off limits. So now we're going to talk about butt stuff.
That's it. The one thing. The one thing is behind the paywall if you want to talk about butt stuff. And it's not Patreon, folks. Only dads.
No, talk about butt stuff.
Only dads.
Yeah.
Only dad. That would probably be a hit.
Yeah, for somebody. There's a demographic for it, for sure.
Currently searching to see if the website
and it would be vast.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be a vast demographic.
It would be. So, that being said, with nothing off limits, what would you like to share with the class today about your chaotic life? I'm sure that everyone has been asking.
Everyone has been asking.
I don't really share.
Because they're not asking me. It's
well, really? No one asked you in your DMs?
No. Which I feel like people think they blow up like I'm an Instagram lady. They don't, and it's great. So it's not
That's neat.
Yeah, and so we did the divorce dance. So that is all final and good, and we're trying to work on co-parenting and coexisting and all the things or whatever. And so it's been super weird. Which I think when anything that comes to an end that you put like 9 years of life into is super weird. And then looking back on it retrospectively has been horrible and also great because I think you can see it's easier to fill the gaps and the blanks in the sentences when you look back and you could call yourself an asshole and that's okay. And if you don't, then that's a separate issue. But yeah, it's been super weird. I'm an overly emotional cat, I feel like. And I think all three of us can probably agree with this because we all had to talk separately and together. When you have been eating fruit for so long off this tree in life, one tree or another, and you find out that fruit may be rotten, and you go back to the seed of the tree and you realize there are like things way back that affect how I interact and how I, or don't interact, how I disassociate, or how things make me feel that probably have nothing to do with the person that are doing those things. It's a heavy time, but it's at the same time it's beautiful, man. I've turning in's been really cool, and so been a lot of nights spent in this weird apartment, like thinking of some heavy stuff and crying, and that's okay. I'm an emotional cat. I got daughters. It's only going to get worse. But yeah,
truth.
Yeah, and so it's been cool. It's not the things coming out of it are cool. So I don't think anybody likes feeling like they're a part of a failure per se, which. It's weird to say that, but yeah.
Right.
So.
But think about all the people that stay not just in marriages, but in circumstances and situations and partnerships and businesses and even cities, live in cities and realize sometimes too late or sometimes never that it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
At least you're past this, like the worst part of the growth, and now you're like situating on a new chapter.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, it's weird, man. I feel like it's a real seesaw that I'm on both seats, and I'll walk back and forth on either one. Because like by no means like I think it's cool to say it takes two to tango, but like I mean, man, I was a real dickhead. And we got married, and there was a lot of growth Dex had to do. That's why like my favorite joke right now, and it's like a sick joke to myself. We're all dumb till we're 30. Dumb. Like, and I was talking to somebody in the gym the other day, and they were talking about like the Bible and stuff. And I always have like questions on it. I go to church. Me and JC are cool, but He disappears at 12. He comes back at 35. And like, so that's been my joke is we're all stupid till we're 30. And he was talking about this. I was like, look, man, I'm right. You didn't even hear about Jesus till he's 35. So we're all dumb till we're 30. Then 33, 35, depending on who you are, what your experience is, you're coming out of that fog. But that when we got married, I was in turd ball season. I think there were a lot of things about me I didn't know, and like who I was, what was important to me, and all that. And then she was a victim and benefactor, depending on the season of life. And I think we're both realizing a lot of stuff like that. I hope. I know I have, and it stings, man. It's weird to look back and see like maybe not like specific instances, and there are some, but I think that the things to me were like if things happen and I remove an opportunity for you to react different or change that story for yourself and taking things off the table. And then you learn about, I have this weird avoidant attachment style and all this, and those things suck. But it's,
He's talking attachment style, folks.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, we've been talking to folks.
Attachment styles.
We've been,
Anti-avoidant attachment styles, because they say
in books without
they
pictures.
say that is the toughest. So you found out that you were avoidantly attached. Is that correct? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. So I have like
lean that way.
Yeah. Well, I saw something this morning that was really weird. I put it in my story. It was talking about like it was Brene Brown, and it's Logan's fault. Brene Brown guy from Deuce. But she talks about it and like, I hate like doing the weird gender thing, but like I see those things in me. Like when hard conversations would come up, I'm much more comfortable completely avoiding it, sitting on the bomb till it explodes and just dealing with the fallout versus like sitting in the awkward stuff or bringing those things to you. And a lot of that stuff's from like how you grow up, like, you did or didn't have love in the way you needed it or the amount you needed it. And the stuff I got back to me, like my relationship with my dad was, not a thing really. He was around, but enough to like for you to know it's there, but also not be able to reach it. And he had his own problems. I think as a father now, I understand those things infinitely more. The not making them right to make things work or be near or be just in the gaps for me and my brother makes me more mad now. Like that stuff. Some things I can understand, and there are other things that are way the other way. Like I cannot wrap my brain around because like those, I would do anything. I would be to be available to do whatever for those two little girls. I do it, no question. Live in a cardboard box as long as I had enough money to get a spot with 2 bedrooms for them to sleep in when I had them. And so I couldn't wrap my brain around those things, but I can think of specific instances where. And I was lucky. Like my mom was, top shelf. Like she did both things. Like she was can't say enough. And like her passing away was crazy. I write to her every day. And books. I got a bunch of like not filled out notebooks at the house. And so I can go back to like really specific instances of this cat missing stuff and me, having to have the conversation of like why I'm not good enough for you to show up for or pick up or why the plans always change with me, and me being the one, that kind of has to not be picked up. And it's weird to go back because I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday, right? And you have things like that. But when I go to therapy and I go talk to people that know a little more than me or can, non-biased third-party perspective, it's weird how things come back. And then you realize, oh, I can remember it. We stuffed it on down in there. And that's terrifying to me. I'm 35 this year, man, and it's really weird to still be uncovering those things, which is cool. Like human experience is different for everybody. Like that road is long, but going back to like being able to remember like smells and times and like flickering street lights and words and tones and things between like people that are your parents and you specific instances of like you not feeling good enough and you coming up with something to make it sting for the other person. So then that snowballs into like me not being good enough. So I got to layer on these things that may or may not be true, may be inflated. This inflated sense of self to express to other people and all this stuff when I'm cool, right? Like I come with enough stuff. And so it's really weird to work back on all that, especially through all these things. And I hate that like that's like the catalyst for it is like that weird season of life where it's something that I thought I was doing so right for so long. And that was the ugly part of it, that I would avoid situations that, trying to avoid trouble for both people, or not overload one person, overwhelm them, and it ends up being more at the end, right? Like I save trouble now and it creates more trouble later. And that it's cool to move forward and not walk in those things anymore, and learning about yourself. But it sucks to look back. And so,
learning about yourself sucks. And that's why a lot of people start therapy and then stop therapy, because they don't want to learn about themselves. They don't want to like dig up those like deep roots. But that's even like me, right? Coming off of my second marriage, like you feel like, oh, I failed again. And so then you go back and went to therapy again. And I'm like, the fuck how did I fuck this up? Because it does take two, no matter like who's the quote unquote maybe like bigger asshole. But the thing is that I still have to look myself in the face and go, okay, what led me down this road again to where I'm in this spot again, to where I'm like starting over again. And so I think you're always going to be like digging and searching. However, at least we're moving forward in a positive manner and identifying things in us that like still are broken, and like why we attract things that we attract. So kudos to you for doing work.
Yeah, I hate it. It's like I've stuck with it, and it's cool because it like I don't know if I hate going to do that more, or writing about it, or actually doing the things, or sitting here and trying to unpack it myself. Because I feel like leaning into those things or with other people. And I think that was the thing I was guilty of for a long time. Like I have best friends I confide in and things like that. And at the end of the day, some of them give you some hard truth stuff, but like unpacking it with them's hard. And and that's not to say, I don't know, man, it's weird. And then when you look back and like you can look at through that lens, like when the perspectives change, you can see the other person through those things. I feel like there's a lot more grace for people in that, especially like if you don't feel attacked and all that. Not to say I did. Like I said, I was a dick. But you can see like when you go back to like these things in like childhood or way back that still affect you. They might affect you more than once because it's hard, right? This shit's hard for sure. Title, but yeah, it's weird to like you can see it in other people, but all you can do for them is like hope they do those things and try to work through it. And but I don't know. Not to say like it was ugly. It was definitely like blood on my hands for sure. And I think all the things that some of them are reactive. And like I said, like we've had some things happen like without details like that. She may or may not have ever known, right? And she knows that she was doing her best for sure, and I know that, right? We both were with what we had and the language we had and the tools you had, right? And sometimes you don't have the tools for the job, and you just hope that it works out to where you accumulate those things and grow together. And sometimes it doesn't. But it'll be, and now like if we didn't have kids, man, there's other people involved now. That's what terrifies me is because of that experience. Like I, thought I knew love and things and all that before we had them. And one is me, a clone, and one's her. Anna's 3 and Logan's 1. And she was sick yesterday, so we like hung out at the pool all day, and she talks. Daddy gets no breaks. She's used to having sister around now. So when Sissy's at school, Dad's the playmate, and I'll wear her out. And I'm certain she slept like a champ last night. But it's weird to kind of count your steps as to how they're affecting people, because I'm sure like my dad didn't know, right? I say he didn't all the time, but it's
yeah, but especially their generation, they probably
they weren't seeking help.
No.
People
no, they weren't doing therapy and self-care and this kind of growth. It just wasn't a thing. It wasn't as prevalent.
Well, and I've watched, right? Like and that was the beautiful part of how my mother handled those things is like, and now she was brash, and I joke with people and say like those Tyler Perry movies are about her because she was a Medea. She was a 6 foot, very loud, the filter between brain and mouth, which was hilarious to watch that develop up until like right before she passed away. Is because she got to where like she'd be like, okay, she'd say a lot of those. But before that, like she was not. She would show up at school, show her ass first, and then see what was up. But seeing them interact, man, I never heard her say a bad word about my dad. And then learning the stories later when I'm like coherent enough to like pay attention, like this is different. And then
that's huge. that shows so much restraint and respect and foresight, because we all have either been in this situation or have had close friends in this situation where, you know, something happens between you and your partner and you have to tell your best friend or your friend group, and then they remind you of that circumstance when it comes back, when you're, or when you go back to them.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
Yeah. And they like,
right.
you know, it was really weird. And I see like, I can think of weird times. Like I used to be terrified of staying the night. Not terrified. I was like a homesick kid. Love my mom. That was my dog. And so like, I remember there's a span where like, if I stayed at your house, you knew Dex was disappearing at like 2 a.m. Everybody goes to sleep. Well, I'm gonna ride this bike home, especially if you were in.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is so cute.
Yeah, and so we talked about that in therapy. Like there was one Christmas, I think I was at Kevin's, and I called mom at like 2 a.m. and she was like, "No, you need." I called her 4 or 5 times. Must have been 'cause she came and got me. And I remember, and I could never. It was so weird. I boo-hooed, cried my face off in therapy talking about this. And I remember me getting in the car. My friend, is her best friend. Her name's Lisa. I called her Aunt Lisa. And until I was like 20, didn't know she wasn't actually my aunt almost 20. It was way later in life. She was just always around. But I remember the cat opening the door and didn't do anything, didn't run up to it, didn't show his ass. He just opened the door and looked. And then he went back in. And I remember that. And so like there are times like that where like I know the guy was heartbroken. Like I have to drop him off now. Like I don't know who cries harder, me or them. And whether it's in like the dropping them off or the drive home, and then you start recounting, and there's this weird score you keep with yourself where these things were avoidable and all that, and they were, right. You were doing the best with what you had at the time, and all that stuff. And like it's not a cakewalk for her either, man. I mean, she is a very like high performing person and does a lot of great things for a lot of great people, and you know, still have love for her, and she's an amazing human. And it's just we both are victims of experience, and you know, either not trusting each other enough to fix those things together, which is hard, man. And I've learned that now. Like, I think, you know, especially like if you're going to move forward your life relationally, like if, you know, it's weird to like screen people for things that now you know are important to you, or like to see it and be like, ah, you know what? We're good.
Yes.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
And you have to start doing that earlier in the process, because as we get older, that part becomes the most important part. And you know, Dex, as women, we sometimes have a problem, or we have an issue, or maybe it's a lack of self-confidence of being like, no, with a partner, no, this is what we're looking for. And we have a problem stating what we want sometimes. And also, you know, running this more of a transaction. Like, this is my list. And obviously you never get your 100% of your list, but
Man,
you need to be like 85% or higher.
yeah. I need 4 out of 10. I need a good at bat. What's a good at bat? 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 5? They
It is so nice, by the way, to hear from you about how much work you've been doing, you being like a male.
Oh, look, don't be fooled. Look at my head. I had a '07 Brittany Minty B just full. That's the picture I showed the guy when I said, "Hey, dude, let's shave my head. It's a crazy time in my life. Shave my head. Let's see what's up. I'm gonna save these seconds in the morning. We're gonna dial down the hair product stuff. We'll just less hats. We'll just shave my head. Go back to." That's not true. So I look at pictures. Still have mama's phone. Like I delete nothing. Charge it up. It'll die. I'll charge it. I look through pictures and cry a whole day. But especially like when the season comes around, because like her thing was being around, and that was the weird contrast of like, because I mean, you know, I've done athletic stuff my whole life. I don't remember her missing a ball game since Pee Wee, anything ever, and it's terrifying. Like knowing now, I mean, she cut hair, she had 3 kids, she had 0 help, by herself. Like, and she was, and like we got her. Yeah, it was insane. I remember the first time I filed taxes, I had no idea how she fed and clothed us. But she was always around and was that good light, and it makes it that much more important for things like that. But like, that was the kind of theme of all those things, and like especially like talking about screening people. You know, we've all 3 said to each other like about like kind of the light you are and all those things. And I think the thing I'm moving into, like the light's cool and me being me is safe or you know, feel safe, and I am comforting to people because I guess I'm comfortable with me and things like that. I know me and I know what I'm not. I think to be in the shade for people, that's what I'm noticing in myself for like other people, and like some things that aren't for everybody, right? Like I think I'm like a serial vulnerability person, and like it comforts me to be able to get it out, right? I think there's too much spaghetti in here for me to sit on it and let it all tangle up by itself, and so it comforts me to like, overshare. Like I'm an oversharer. That's how I inject myself into conversations. Like my ADD goes crazy, and you're telling me a story about you, and my way to let you know that I'm invested in it is to give you like a parallel story. Well, oh yeah, I know this happened to me, so I know how this. And it's like it can be taken as me making it about me, but it's not. That's me like waving the flag, like I'm very interested in what you're saying. Here's how into it I am. And so I work on like being good light, cool. I'll be me. I can't help but be anything but that. But being like good shade for people, and so where you can feel safe and all those things, and then more so like knowing that's not for everybody. And like y'all know me, I don't fuck with everybody at baseline, but if I do, like being the good shade has been cool, and learning hurts, like you said, but it's a thing. It's been weird.
Well, all of it's weird. Have you experienced having to let go of relationships, and this can be friendships as well, creating new friendships? How many of your friends have been there before and are here now?
That's what's crazy. So I have I don't know if you met DeMarco. So his name's DeMarco Fomby. We've been best friends since sixth grade. I think he moved to my school. We fought over a girl, and then we've been best friends since then. I mean, I used to, is like a stark contrast, right? Like with, I lived on like the white trash trailer park side of town. He lived on the fancy side of town, in our little complete white trash community. And his dad was like, super, used to be a cop, used to be super athletic guy, Mr. Mark. He was like father figure to me, great guy. He'd always be in the street throwing the football with us, stuff like that. But he has been through a similar thing. I joke and say without the paperwork, because it wasn't like divorce, but if there's a kid involved, it feels very legalistic and like divorce. Um, and I think he and I've always had the relationship of like hard truth, and he does motivational speaking for a living. He's one of the most talented people I've ever met. Like play every instrument, sing, do it at the same time, give you a speech, make you feel good. That's what he does at high school. I've went and shot one. It's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, because I don't think he plans any of it. Like, I mean, the songs he plans, but like the speech is off the dome. The cat's so good at it. But he, without getting in that tone and feeling like he's at work, he's been somebody I've talked to about it. And he's given me like, a very like in therapy, like hard truth kind of thing with it. He's like, look, I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm your brother. I love you. You fucked up here. And he's been there. And so, he just got
real friend. A real
oh
friend.
yeah,
I mean,
that's my dude. That's my he's
like being with your friend.
he is
then
not
are you
scared to hurt my feelings for sure. But he just got remarried, moved to Nashville. I think I'm actually gonna go see him tonight because I got to fly out in the morning for practice. But yeah, it was cool because he's one of those friends. Like if I don't see the cat for a year or two, he is busy. I'm busy. It doesn't matter. It's picked right up where it left off. So it's just like Vic. You guys know Vic. Vic's like my little brother, so it's just like that. And he's known me.
We've hung out with
Yeah.
Vic in so many cities, by the way. I have now hung out with Vic in Kauai, in Nashville, in Austin.
That's fun. Look, he just so fun story. My man just
Miami.
moved to Miami and is doing a big role at Peak right now with Guido and them. So
That is awesome. Yeah, I knew that because he wanted to know about housing in my area. And I was like, wait, we're talking about Peak Vic. My area is a solid hour and 10 minutes north of Peak. He's like, oh,
Florida's hard.
Vic, we
Florida's
love
hard.
you.
Okay, Florida's hard.
He literally goes, I just heard South Florida. It's all the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. No. He's in the accent. He's in the accent part. Well, like Brooks in Jacksonville, and so like I call like Southern Mississippi, Georgia, Carolina. Like if you're not on like the hang down part of Florida, it's not Florida. You're in, yeah.
It's basically all the dirty South to me.
Still the top 10 shirt. Yeah, that's my dude. But like he has been really good through this whole thing. Like, and honestly, like a way better friend than me because he's super diligent about. He's like, hey, dude, I'm just calling to see what's up. Are you good? Blah blah blah. And his daughter's older.
That's also Jen. Yeah. Jen is such a great friend, and not just to me, to her other friend. She literally
Tell her
checks
again.
in
Tell
with
her
everyone.
again. She said.
It's true. We were in a group chat yesterday, and I said something to one of the girls, and Rumble contacts me directly and is like, "This might not be the best time for her. She's really going through it." And I was like, "Oh, you would know that." I didn't know that because you are a very good friend. She's very diligent.
Hey, and look, some people want normalcy restored. Like I first moved into this place, man. It was horrible. I think initially, like when you step on that landmine, and nothing's acute, right? Like everything's cumulative for sure, especially in scenarios like this. She put up with my shit for way too long, without me trying to fix a lot of it.
And you're pretty close to the house, right? The apartment that you got is like relatively close to where
it's an annoying drive. Yeah, it's which is on probably I'm next to the gym I work at, so
all right.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. So when we moved here, or I moved here,
here is where
Huntsville. We're in Alabama now, which is great. Like my accent matches. Huntsville is a lot like Huntsville. It's a lot like Louisville in that it's an FBI and a NASA hub. Maybe not FBI, but it's some kind of hub where it's a transplant city. So everybody who lives here ain't from here. They all have Samsung phones, which is weird. A lot of green text messages. It's an engineer town.
That is clearly Scott Biscuiti.
Yeah, it is. Well, same thing. I would never question Scott about it. I would definitely ask an engineer about it.
Right. Scott's
yeah.
Scott
can do whatever the hell he wants to. I might buy one if Scott suggested it. You said this, I'll get it. Okay.
He just has it because it can't be hacked.
Well, and so move here. Huntsville's been dope. And I have a childhood best friend. Like we were so close. My mom's whooped this kid's ass before when we were little. Which has been awesome to reconnect with him. He was literally like, he was at my house. He was nerdy enough to be my brother's friend, and he's a NASA engineer now. So he's nerdy enough to be my brother's friend, but he was also one of my receivers in high school. So that's been cool. Him and his wife have been great. But like talking about people, being a good friend, I wanted normalcy because like when I was out of that rhythm and like these things I've been living for, girls everyday morning routine, all this stuff, and that's kind of like it's still there, but it's there's gaps now. And so where, with all these things you think in this big block of life, you thought you were just knocking out of the park. Well, it turns out you're fucking not. And it's easy to see now, but in the middle of it, when you thought you were, again, like I don't have the tools or the language or hell, maybe self-awareness to realize it. Those gaps moving here were weird. And I wasn't working out really. I wasn't doing anything. And Christian hit me, I want to say in December, maybe like right after Thanksgiving. And he was like, "Hey, dude, we're going to do 2 teams out of the gym. And like, we don't have to talk about fitness stuff. This was just like talking about something to pull you out of chaos, like the life raft that, felt that way." And I went and tried out and I've not been training soft. I've been eating Taco Bell. I've been living off Chick-fil-A, trash. Loved it actually. My innards love trash. Fitness is hard for me, but I sat in here a lot of nights in silence and in the dark, man, and that was horrible. And like I had good friends doing those things, like, hey, probably not a good time. No, man, fuck me not having a good time. Come make me do some normal stuff, pull me out of it. And so that was, whether they know it or not, that got me, and I know how people feel about it, like, oh, this frivolous thing, but like I'm learning that things are important to other people, don't have to be important to me. But like if you are important to me, those things are. If that's how they make you feel, it's not on me to weight those things for you or tell you they are or not. And this thing's been a big part of my life, for good and bad reasons. Like it was my way to stay busy while she was in residency, so I never resented her for being gone. The fitness, CrossFit and coaching and all that. And I've loved this space and the people it's brought me in contact with, and the friendships I've made, and the experiences. And all of them aren't good. Like I was very immature at some points, and
I mean, that's how we all know each other.
Chronic overshare, like I said, like there have been like boundary issues in this thing for sure. That I won't walk through those things again. Like it's a big improvement to walk through it now. But they don't know that was like I was sitting in here drinking Casamigos every night, and me, that ain't me.
No.
And so when tried out, it was me, Brooke Haas. We qualified last time out of Ireland. It was cool, and Christine Best and Joey P. And seeing Joey, the fitness is cool. We're all fit. We had a great time. Obviously, we're going to semis, and we got a really good shot to qualify. Like we're a good team. And
we'll see you next weekend.
Damn right. I'm tan, girl. You can't tell right now, but I've been tanning.
You look great. And also, are you using a ring light?
Right now? Yeah.
Yeah. It looks great.
You.
You're such a professional. Jen and I just set us up so we like face the window.
Here's
Literally.
Minnie Mouse is spotting me here and my kids. Yeah. So it's fake.
Honestly, you're such a pro. Look at
fake.
you. Yeah.
He's on morning. He does the morning chalk
on
out.
who?
So
I think they're dead now. That's what everybody left. Well, it's not shots fired.
Really?
I love Lauren and Presley and all them. I think they both. Lauren's was talking Elite Fitness with Tommy and them, and she's doing awesome. And Presley's good at all the things she does, writing and pictures and all that. I think they both settled into a spot with it, which has been cool to see because I know those two folks drove that train. Lauren was doing the job of like 5 people, and at events they were both doing the same thing. P was writing her ass off, and so it's cool to see them get somewhere where they can like feel appreciated and do the things they were doing and not.
And they can flourish because they're so talented.
Dude, you don't look. Lauren does these things and like she is talking, not looking weird. This hand is doing the graphics, and this hand is doing research. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. And like, yeah, she's super talented. But we did that thing, and then like getting out there and like going and talking to people and friends, like, dude, it is odd the comfort it brings me to have people to live life alongside and realize that like no experience is singular, and that the sky is not just falling on me, and every rain cloud is just not hovering over me while I walk around, right? And I've always been that way. Right. I think now it's cooler to be, I'm a little better about, it's not everything's not everybody's to be shared with, and learning that everybody's not to be trusted with things like that, which has been cool, and boundaries are very cool to learn, and it's for things like that, just to protect yourself, and like the things I intake now, I'm a lot more uptight about, the things I kind of let leak into the old brain and stuff like that. So it's been cool, but and then it's been, like I said, it's not me to tell anyone what's heavy to them, what's not, or what is important. And like this has been a thing in the last 10 years plus, man, for me, whether it was professionally or athletically, or, I'm sure at some point this thing will come to an end and I'll have some weird identity crisis like I did with football coming out of college. But right now it's serving me well. So it's,
but that's a real thing. And we're actually going to have also your friend, Caro, on the show. And she's going to talk to us about, the transition from being an elite athlete to
Olympian,
being
dog. She was, and look,
an actual Olympian, and then kind of like losing that identity and then refinding herself, and so much, depression and anxiety and like self-worth tied up in all of that. And so, I mean, you might go through a transition like that too. I know even, the three of us have talked about this with the transition of Chesty potentially being acquired and all of this, like, yes, of course, what you do doesn't make who you are. Well, bitch, I've been doing this for a decade. Like, I don't know what else I am.
Right.
What?
Dude, it's
literally people stop me, random people who I've never met before, literally say like, you're the Chesty girl. Like, okay, so tell me that's not my identity then.
Well, you've held that baby for so long, and like, it's dude, and it's awesome. It has been and is awesome, and it will be, whether it's you doing it, and if it keeps being that way, it'll be because of the seed you planted in it. And like, and it's the same thing with me with this. Like, I knew I didn't want to teach high school. I feel like Michael Jordan fucked them kids, and more so their parents. Don't let your kid be.
Who wants to teach high school in today's society?
Dude, there are teachers in our gym that make me double, triple down on that. Like, the way they pay them is trash. 2, like I'd slap kids, and I got to fight your dad when he comes up there. But it's man, it's been not anything's real. And like that lady, I mean, I have really, you fucking do art I have in the house. She has art I bought a long time ago. She's one of the more talented people I know. And like, if you like, so when I worked in Louisville, like, her brother who runs, like, I don't know if it's their families or whatever, but they have a swimming country club type deal they own there. It's something Wood, starts with a B. But I mean, he was a high level swimmer too, and like that's their family's business. So like, not only is that your identity competitively and the things you like dump your time and your energy and like your emotional stock into for so long. And like, that's I need these boxes to be checked because I perform well because I put this time in and all this stuff. Like all those things have a different name and like maybe a different, book, but the paragraphs are the same. The outline's the same. You put a lot of time and things into it. And like, I can't imagine. And then you couldn't get away from it. Like when your family's still into it. But she, I mean, she is, I have a lot of her art in here. She's super talented and sweet. And she's actually like, she messaged me, her and like Kimmy Moss, man, that does the breath and exposure up there. I don't know if there's like a disturbance in the force or whatever. Both like, hey man, let's go. You doing okay, bro? Like at random, I don't know if the universe was putting it out there that hey, conversate with me, but it was just really like weird, timely check-ins, and so she's been super cool. But those people, yeah, I can't. And I think with this, it's a lot different. Like I've been very cool to have different roles in the space as far as like you're talking about like doing the camera stuff's cool and all that stuff. The heart of it is just because I enjoy being around and like any little like foothold I can get in it to stay around and hang out with my friends and like go watch Chandler kick ass, which he'll do this year. I got an athlete I'm coaching at the West Coast semifinal, and she's gonna have the best shot she's ever had to qualify this year. And she's my age, and the workouts came out. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to go do that. But like, it's just the relationships and the people and like the energy of it. And so, I'd like to think it's because I'm a nice guy. People enjoy having me around sometimes, and yeah, I dick sometimes, but most of the time, 3 out of 10, he's a nice guy. But it's
at least a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I'll take that. But I've enjoyed this, and so like stepping away from it completely, like we had to refigure this thing out, and that was like a huge thing, like with us doing the divorce dance is like identifying as like I do these things like CrossFit coach, like as this, my bag is like husband, father, and like now these things it's not part-time, but it feels, and one's not a thing anymore. And then, so this thing's all I've got, but like having to restart those things is terrifying. I think I said this to Jen, like that's the terrifying part of it. And like, I found this out about myself. It's like, I get the most paralysis by analysis of anyone I know as outgoing and whatever, like,
Can confirm.
yeah. And like, but I think it's because like and I'm learning this about myself, is like my squirrel and like the learning how I inject myself into conversations, that it's not mad disrespectful. It is me expressing care and those things. Like the way they come off can be a certain way if I don't preface it or give you the context of this thing. It's like, hey man, I realize you think I'm trying to make this about me. I'm just really concerned and involved, and I am listening. And that's what that means. And I literally have followed up an embarrassing amount of conversations with that exact statement. But trying to figure those things out, like what would be something you want to do and restart, is terrifying. And I've sat on hands a lot, right? And like I think I'm trying to get into like a fuck it up full speed kind of season of life, to where we're gonna pick something.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, it's been cool. And
do you have a couple options right now? Are you like playing around with it? Do you know which lane you're veering towards?
We're playing, man. There are a bunch of guys around here that are firemen, and I went to like a interest thing, and like I got Jordan Cook does it. I had some few buddies go do it. And that's what's also weird about not being married to a surgeon anymore, is there are some things you got to think about, like benefits and such. Right. And well, dude, it's weird.
Like health insurance and
Which
such.
I don't give. I mean, I give a shit. Like I want my kids to be okay and me, but like if I, break my leg, I don't want to ruin my life. But if it's really weird, like, you get into like the man stuff we were talking about, like the beginning, like I realize that I like disassociate from a lot of things, and like in hard conversation, if it's like something that is presented, I know the intention's probably this, but the presentation was much harsher than it probably should have been at the time. Big hard disassociation like that carries into like making choices for these things, like, and it makes me feel like super weird about it. But all the things that I thought I was putting time into, that that score's kept, and that that I don't clock in and clock out for dad stuff or husband things and all the little, you don't keep score. That's not part of it. And when those things are kind of pulled back, and you get that, hey man, you really weren't that good at this, whether you were or not, just when somebody's perspective is that, whether they mean it or not, that's a blow to take. And sitting on hands after that is it has been a humbling season of life, and I'm still in my own brain arrogant piece of shit Dex, but outwardly, it's a lot easier to sift through now. Like I don't know. The experience has been weird, but I'm trying to figure out like what to do. Like, yeah, Matt Torres and then with Brute have been awesome. Like, if I wanted to continue like pushing remote coaching to do that with Brute Strength, for sure could. We're doing awesome things, man. Especially like I call it a rebrand year, but we're not. We're still doing the same hot shit we've been doing, right? Good programming. But it's yeah, like making a call is hard. Like, and there, that's a 1099 life, and there's no benefits from that. And Jesus, insurance is expensive and a fucking racket. So I spent time with Chloe Gavin David. She's from Canada, and my knowledge about like socialized healthcare is very little. And so I grilled this lady. She's very sweet. She's a teacher there, super great lady. And she's telling me about it. And she's like, yeah, she's like, I know a guy tore my ACL, got a surgery in 2 weeks, super nice hospital ball. I was like, wait a minute, don't you just get put on a list? She was like, yeah, but if you know somebody, I was like, I work in gyms, homie, I got a guy for everything. And she was like, she said, exactly. She said, exactly. I said, huh. But then here, don't have insurance and break your arm. Your life's over. Your life's over. Like
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I've lived that. Like I've watched my mom do it. Like, and it's really weird. Like, so I don't know. It's weird. Like the fireman thing would suit me. I think I'm a team guy in my heart, like across the board, whether it's competing in this or doing anything. Like that was just always a thing for me. Feeling like other people are leaning on me and I can lean on them feels good to me. And so, and here, like, the fire captain owns the gym I work at now. John's an amazing person. Went and hung out with those guys, and I got some buddies who love the lifestyle, and then like, well, you can't beat that government benefit and all that stuff. So we'll see. I'm built for a lot of weird things, so it's gonna be hard to kind of narrow that down. So
yeah, but you can do all of it. You can just maybe sequentially attack that.
I'm not dying. I'm not going to jail. So yet. So we'll figure it out. It's the chips will fall where they're supposed to. Bills are paid, and people are happy, and my belly's full. So it's yeah, that's all you can ask for, man. The rest of it will work it out. As long as I'm kind to myself and people and kind of walk slow and soak in the good stuff and evaluate the bad stuff a little better than I have before. I feel like I'll be all right.
All of this experience, from my perspective, has made you an even better friend because you have become even more empathetic and more worldly in your perspective. Jen, I called Dex the other day and I was literally like sobbing. I was full on troll and I literally was just like, no prefacing the conversation. He picks up and I was like, I just need you to tell me it's gonna be okay.
And I said that to you. I said, hey, look, you're not dying or going to jail. That's exactly what I said.
Literally. That's what reminded me of that, actually.
Well, like that's what I said, dude. Like I feel like there are beautiful parts of every like piece of life, and this one, for me, I think that the growth, the even forced, maybe it's forced. Like it's even if somebody's got to grab your head and turn it in the mirror. That's been it for me. But like, man, look at the things in your life that are blossoming right now. Like a different version of things you thought you loved, in a beautiful version of it, right? Like I know, I got a lot of love in me, way more than just for one person, Nicole. And now no, this is it. Like and all of the things that come with that, like the things he's good at, the things you're good at, like where you're going to be, what you're going to do, like that's a beautiful amount of stress and something to cry over, but not because like your life's falling apart. It's the pieces of the puzzle are a little more clear now to where like you used to maybe were missing the main character space to put in there, and now you got it. And so and like it's cool for, like that's what I'm saying, like we've been through some seasons together, and so to see, it's a weird one to see again. But I look, and I love man. Like I think it and even more so now, like because I think the version of my brain of like what it is and what's acceptable, and it's not just a certain a few things. What that whole flow and ebb and looks like is cool, and like seeing you go through it and me being like a way different south end of that thing has been cool, and like and getting to hang out with y'all, like it's palpable, man, with no words being said or anything. And so it's one thing to like text and talk about it, but then to be around it's cool. You make me sick, but so no, it's funny. It's really weird to see pieces be found, and like how big, knowing how like big the world is and how like crazy it is to find those things. And so yeah, man, walk real slow. That's all. Like you got short legs.
Hey,
Jen does have short legs. Yeah.
I have no choice.
I'm a tiny lady.
well, thank you for that. And Jen and I are very excited to be here with you, and we will also walk slow next to you and support you. We all need support. We just have this support circle happening
That's it.
because we all need
That's
it, and we can.
Hey man,
all
we're years in the game. How long have we been doing this? We really are. We have to clock back on that because it's. We need to find out when our friend anniversary is.
Okay.
I text Ryan happy birthday yesterday, and I put up a picture, and he messaged me. He was like, "Man, I was so sick on the inside." And I was like, "Shit, we both were, bub." That's why I posted it. I was like, "Look at us now."
Oh, I texted him too. I haven't heard back, Ryan. If you're listening, it's okay. It's all right.
We know now.
We all have
now, Bubba.
It's all good.
We love you either way, you crazy bastard.
We do love you either way. All right, so we have switched it up with how we do this like rapid fire thing, right? So before we get to rapid fire, though,
it's not that serious of questions.
It's not that serious, but before we get there, we're going to ease you into this and just ask you, because we haven't asked you a single thing really, because you can talk to a wall, because we love you for that. What is your morning routine?
Ooh.
Do you do like, what are your morning beverages? Like walk us through the morning.
There's two now. So with girls, 5 a.m. we're up wide open. I used to hate it, and now I love it because we get a day before the day, right? Because those 3 hours do not go by fast. But I get them up. I don't turn TV on for them. We play. I make coffee in a cup that can't be spilled. Learned that lesson the hard way. But yeah, I do coffee with the collagen stuff in it, so I can get wrinkly gracefully. I guess I can't wait to be like.
You do bulletproof, like MCT oil, collagen powder.
So that NG Nutra sent me some stuff, and that one I've been using, which has been cool. It doesn't taste like anything. So it's like black coffee. It's just coffee, Kev. And the collagen in there.
Okay,
that's right.
Kev.
You know the homies. But and so I eat like in season. I eat on a schedule. So like I'll wake up, hang out with them, drink a cup of coffee. We'll play Mickey Mouse, Tea Party, whatever they want to do, or just run around like maniacs till 6:30. And I'll cook us all breakfast. They eat what I eat. So at least that meal. We might live off ice cream the rest of the day, but at least one time a day. It's fine. We're doing our best. We're running full speed, and
that's all you can do.
That's it. So I wake up, I put my robe on, brush my teeth. I do the coffee. The girls are already up, going nuts. I put a protein waffle in the toaster for them. That's all. Yeah. So they eat that as a wake up snack. Then we eat. They probably eat a full egg and like some sausage every morning by themselves. It's the little one's gonna be bigger than Anna. Logan's gonna be bigger than Anna for sure. Which I don't know where she gets that from. I was a late bloomer.
Athletes over here.
Dude, and I take them to school with that obnoxious like 35, 40-minute drive and come back. Morning routine too by myself. I'm getting up at 5:30 or 6, robe on, teeth brushed because fuzzy teeth are gross, and then I drink coffee and watch Get Up in the morning. Catch up on the old sports. Okay. Yeah, but I'm eating breakfast at 6:30 every morning because the fat person in me needs to be fed. But this eating on schedule stuff's nuts. That's it. Beverages. I'll drink like a green thing because I don't believe in vegetables. So that's my only way to get them in. I know that they're real. I just don't support them. So, yeah.
Okay. Fair. Okay, we're gonna circle back to that offline, but I drink greens first every morning.
Well, I guess you better start eating a handful of kale because that's absorption, whatever.
Jen and I are also out here looking for sponsorships. So.
Hey, NG Nutridog. There you go.
Listen, I just found out that an organization I'm working with partially funded Olipop, and I was so excited to tell Jen that I might have an in to get her the Olipop advertising sponsorship that she has always needed and wanted.
That's it.
That's it. It's the only sponsorship I want, to be honest.
That's it.
That's
that, and then Body by Jen. We'll put that on the internet. That'll be it. We're doing drop lunges, squats, and jumps.
All right, Dex, are there any books or podcasts aside from ours that you are currently consuming?
I got on an unruly amount, and this is Kimmy Moss's fault also, because that Rhetoric in Motion I bought when she wrote that and put it out. I bought an ungodly amount of poetry books. Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
nerd, and so, but I like word. I like, not only am I good with words, but that was my. I should have been. I was a history major. I should have been an English major. I feel like. But yeah, there's a bunch. If they weren't way over there, I'd get them. There's one. Healing Words is one, and it's just a poetry collection. Another one is The Evolution of Awareness. That one's been cool, and that's more of like it's like essays more so than poems and stuff. But I am a deep, gooby person on the inside, and I like words, man, that make me feel. And so, yeah, I'm neck deep in that. Am I reading anything like crazy self-help, rich dad? No. I'm trying to, I'm untangling all this versus adding to it and making some more problems I feel I don't really have. So I've been
that leads me to another question that you can pass on if you would like. You can say pass. Are you dating? Because when the women's see this podcast and they're going to be like, oh,
I want a sympathetic, understanding.
Sympathetic, and he does.
And he's a dick. I shaved my head, so it's probably off the table now. We're not dating. No. We are, but we're not. So yeah.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever that means, take it as you will, people.
Right.
Yeah. Read between the lines. Yeah.
So as a side note, I woke up this morning and read almost cover to cover a poetry book that I bought for Steven. You're going to need it, so I will just go ahead and ship it to you.
Tell me what it is. Let's see if I have it.
Love Her Wild by Atticus.
Okay, I don't have that.
And I'm going to go ahead and credit our producer, Devin, for this, which was really surprising because
you would never know coming from our producer. Never know.
Never know. Devin pulls up in his pickup truck with like 14 guns in the back because he's, he works with the sheriff's county and he does production for like a lot of military like suppliers and stuff. That's why.
It's
and yeah.
Well, we love that.
We do. We love a well-rounded person.
Yeah, like you can't be a hard ass all the time. Yeah. Okay, you gotta pillows have cool sides.
Okay, so no, of course. Rapid fire. We say a term. You tell us immediately the one word or something, one phrase that comes to mind. You ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Sunglasses at night.
It's that old song.
Okay.
I don't know the name of it, but that song. That's it. Who sings that? Somebody knows. I don't.
So
there's a 5 a.m. There's a 5 a.m. CrossFit person that loves that damn song that'll make me play it. That's that crowd.
But are you a yes or a no for it?
Like I'm an eclectic. I work out the 90s R&B. The playlist is called Rewind and Grind. That's what I lift weights and do CrossFit too. So yeah, I can get down with it.
So, nice. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Okay, got it. Next word, situationships.
Hard pass now. Hard pass. Yeah. Real weird.
Okay.
Real weird.
Next
real
one.
Sticky.
Yeah. Real sticky. Next one. Festivals.
Oh yeah. Especially if I get to wear the outfits y'all are wearing to these. If I get to be weird with that, absolutely. When y'all went to the first one, I was like, you know what you're getting into? Yeah.
Dexy at a festy. It's a whole thing.
Oh, y'all can dress me for it. Y'all can dress me for it.
Don't say that unless you're for real, because
crazy. When y'all were going that first one, and I was like, do you know what goes on with these things? Because it's not just fist pumping and like glow sticks, dog. And y'all were like, no, we'll be fine. We're not gonna do that. 64 music festivals later, now I'm gonna get dressed. Yeah. So
this weekend, as we go to Red Rocks,
we're literally going this weekend to Red Rocks to see John Summit.
But Red Rocks,
it's beautiful.
And I forgot to tell you, Rumble, I ordered fleece-lined tights that look like fishnets, just in case.
Okay. If there's a random like 40-degree morning here right now, so I can't imagine how it is in Colorado.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And I still need to wear the thong bodysuit.
We're still trying to hoe it out.
I don't know if it's hoeing it out there. I feel like it's like a weird, you got to dress for the rage. And so, yeah. There's no such thing as a nip slip at a music festival. So it's encouraged. It's encouraged even.
We already come with them out.
Yeah.
So
whole titty out, just pasty. Yeah. Freedom is what they call that. Freedom.
Yeah. We are in our freedom phase.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Speaking of last term, international travel.
Oh yeah, please. And I'm like, because the only two I've done is not Egypt. I'll put that out there. Not Egypt. Yeah. Friends. Yeah. No. But yeah, the only time I've ever done it, like, and that's what, the CrossFit thing, man, my white trash person, I'd have never went to like France and Ireland without these things. And like going in that context was cool, like especially to Ireland, that was not a very cool trip, but just being there was cool. And we qualified, but like going to France to do the French Throwdown and then spending a day scooting around France by myself taking pictures, like I need to go back and do those things and have to do nothing that involves sweating except just be. But yeah, dude, it's I gotta get more stamps on the old passport for sure.
I support that.
Not in Egypt, I repeat.
Well, hey, we're going to Costa Rica next. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, Costa Rica's like fake America. I can do that. Like
it kind of is. Much more pretty.
Yeah, it's sexier, better accent America, right? What am I thinking about?
Yeah,
I'm thinking about Puerto Rico. Never mind. The annexation of Puerto Rico. Great play.
Wow. Yeah. Hopefully Carla doesn't listen to that part.
No. Well, yeah, just okay.
It's fine. We're good. Yeah. It's fine. We're all friends here. Okay, so you probably remember this sign-off manifesto better than Jen does, but if I start talking and you remember the words, please chime in. This is how I would close this out.
You'll have to do it in sync now if Jen messes it up. Cut her.
I had to shut my mouth until the very end.
Yeah, she loves the ending, and honestly, I can see why. Okay, so we're going to close this out with our mantra, which is, we are happy, we are healthy, we are wealthy, and we are smoke shows.
Generally, if you never remember it, just do that every time.
I did. That's pretty much what I do.
It's like the genie in a bottle thing. That's great.
Other smoke shows. Where's my lip?
That's it.
We 100% are going to have merch soon for the store, and that's going on the shirts.
Yes. Yeah, it should. On the back, that'd be dope.
Lip gloss.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to stop recording now. We just wanted to say thank you so much for getting super vulnerable about all the hard shit that you do and are dealing with. We really super appreciate it. And we can't wait to watch you kick ass next week.
I love you guys. Y'all are always cool to talk to these things about because you'll call me an asshole and all those good things. Well, and being on my team at the same time. So that's cool. But yeah, next week I'm showing my entire ass. We're going. Workouts came out. They're good for us. So we'll be out there. It'll be fun. And if we're not, we'll be drunk at Harry Potter World on Sunday because teams go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we're drinking butterbeer, happy or sad. Either way, I'm getting a wand and doing weird shit for an entire Sunday.
All right.
And I don't even like Harry Potter that much. I'm just going to go. So.
And you heard it here first, folks. Love that for us.
No, but I love you guys. I miss y'all. I'm excited to see y'all next week. It's going to be fun.
We love you the most. Thank you.